Hello, welcome to Maddie's Kitchen, and I will be the guest host of today's show. And today we are making ribs in the Instant Pot. So as you can see, we have no room, but we'll take care of that later. Right now we're going to show you how to take the membrane off the back of the rib. And the Instant Pot is a great way to cook your ribs quicker, because sometimes ribs take like 4 hours, and who has that kind of time? You know, everything's fast nowadays, so the Instant Pot is good. So what I was shown to do is you have to take your butter knife, make sure your sharp object is away from you, stick it underneath the memmy.
So you're loosening the membrane from the bone, right?
Yes.
And this is on the underside of the rib?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's where the memmy is. And then you take your knife, and don't cut yourself. I probably cut that on the wrong side, but
Yeah.
okay. Well, it's fine. Let's just do this. We can show it as an example. So you take your paper towel, so you have something to grip onto. Then you pull at the memmy. Oh, memmy. Hang on.
So what you want to do is get a little flap of the membrane loosened and then grab it with your paper towel. And then it should just pull off in a nice little sheet for you.
Man, when she did it, it looked so easy.
It is easy. Did you get it loose enough, love?
Let me do this one. Need a time lapse.
Okay, got it loosened. Now let's pull.
Paper towel. Okay. All right. All right. Doesn't sound good, but it looks good. I mean, it will look good in an hour or two.
Any rib recipe you find is going to tell you to take that silvery membrane off the back of the bones. And these are spare ribs, by the way, not baby backs. So that is the easiest way that I've found to do it, is with the paper towel, because it pretty much pulls everything off.
Mm-hmm. And if you can't get it all off, that's okay. As long as you
Right.
get a lot of it off, you should be fine. And if you want to take this fat off, you can with a knife, because the fat won't really... I mean, it adds flavor.
It helps it to get soft. I wouldn't take the fat off.
Oh, okay. You won't take the fat off, so I won't take the fat off.
Alright, so now coming over to the Instant Pot so you can see what he was saying. This one is kind of massive, but normally if you have a smaller rack of ribs, it will just fit in around your Instant Pot, and you can just kind of circle it like this. Since that didn't work for us today, what we're gonna do is just take a knife and cut these into sections so that we can lay them in however they will best fit.
Yep, get a nice sharp knife, and if you ever worked at a food restaurant, you should know how to cut ribs. We worked at a very good food restaurant, and they taught us how to cut ribs very well. So we're using that skill today to cut these lovely ribs. So we'll be back with you in a little bit when we get the seasonings in there and get everything ready. So see you in a bit. Hello and welcome back to my wife's kitchen. Now we are going to be preparing the liquids to put in with the barbecue ribs. So we are going to be using...
We're going to be using half a cup of barbecue sauce.
And this is barbecue sauce that Maddie made. It tastes very delicious. If you want her to make a video on that, we need lots of likes and lots of subscribes. So do that for us, please, and we'll show you how she made this. So we're going to get half a cup. So let's see if I can measure it out rightly. Measure up.
That's half.
Oh.
That's 3/4, but it's okay. It doesn't have to be exact.
More sauce never hurt it. Okay, so.
And you can use your favorite barbecue sauce. Now you need a cup of water in there.
Here?
Yep.
Okay.
I just like to do it all in the same thing, so I'm only dirtying one.
Okay.
So you would just fill it up to a cup and a third on there.
Smart. Cup and 1/3.
Or I'm sorry, a little bit more than that.
Cup.
A cup. It's a cup and 3/4 because that's what you put in there is 3/4. Okay. Now you're gonna add in 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar.
Okay. And that is tablespoons, not teaspoons. So not this tiny one. It's this big one.
Right.
Yes. So she said 3. There you go. 1. 2. 3. And then we need some liquid smoke. How much do we need?
We're gonna do a teaspoon of that.
Okay. Teaspoon. Tiny one. They just think of tea. A little tea.
A little tea.
But a table is like a big thing. Table is bigger than a tea. If you can remember. You said just 1?
Yeah, just 1.
Whoa, this must be some powerful stuff. What is this? Like smoky? Gives it a smoky flavor?
Yes, that's the whole purpose of it.
All
And
right.
since we're not smoking our ribs, we're cooking them in the Instant Pot. It'll
Do we
give
need to
them a
mix
little
it
bit
in?
of that smoke. Yes, mix it together.
Okay.
And then that's going to be our liquid that we put in the bottom of the Instant Pot because it needs at least a cup of liquid to pressurize properly. So
Excellent.
anything that you're making in the Instant Pot, it's got to have some kind of liquid in it.
That smells amazing.
Once you're mixed in, just go ahead and add it to the Instant Pot bowl.
Into the pot. Sauce. Okay.
And then now what Nathan's gonna do for us is he's gonna go ahead and excuse me, put the spice rub on the ribs for us. And today the spice rub that we're using, you can use any spice rub. It doesn't have to be homemade. You can use whatever you like. But what we're using today is some brown sugar, some paprika. That was my coffee, by the way. Black pepper and salt, of course, garlic powder, onion powder, cayenne powder, and a little bit of dark chili powder as well.
Ah.
So what you're gonna do is just go ahead and start putting that on our ribs and get everything well coated, and we'll be right back with you. Go ahead.
Beep. Okay. So, welcome back today. So, what we did is we rubbed the rub on there like you're supposed to do. Hence the name. And this is quite a messy process, so if you don't like messes, don't do this.
Or wear gloves like I do.
Oh, you can just wash your hands. So, we had to chop these up because they were really big. So, you need a real sharp, good knife to cut through it because you might hit some bones. But as long as the knife is nice and sharp, you can cut through it no problem.
And all you do is just lay them around the sides in a circle. And if you're only using one rack of ribs, you shouldn't have much of a problem with this.
But we're doing 2 because we are hungry people.
Because we're overachievers.
Oh my. So Maddie made this fit. I don't know if I'll be able to make it fit. We might have to turn it off and come back to you. But I mean,
You just get everything in there, baby. That's, yeah, you got it. You got it. And just put those on top.
oh moi.
All right, now we're gonna have Nathan wash his hands. And while he's doing that, I'll have you
Happy
come.
birthday. Happy birthday to you.
I'll have you come over here if he'll stop singing. And we'll get these
Dear
in the
Jonathan
Instant
Lawson,
Pot.
happy birthday to you.
Alright,
Okay.
so Instant Pot is plugged in. We have our liquid in there. We're going to put on the lid and lock it. So that's locked. It's set to seal. Now, one thing you want to make sure of is when you position your Instant Pot on the counter, you want this where the steam's going to come out to not be directly underneath of a cabinet, but I will move this afterwards, but I want you to see what I'm hitting here. So we're going to do pressure cook. It's actually already set from the last time that we did this. We're doing it on high for 35 minutes. And then we're gonna hit press. Now, if you've never used an Instant Pot before, this preheating here, it's gonna show you that for when it's coming up to pressure. Now, because we have a chock full Instant Pot, we are probably dealing with it gonna take a long time to come up to pressure. When it's cooking, that's gonna be the 35-minute mark, and then we're gonna let it do a partial natural release, which means that after it's done with its cook time, we're just gonna let it sit there and naturally let the pressure go, which is gonna take longer than a quick release, but that's what we wanna do for this. And then after a certain period of time, if it still hasn't completely depressurized, then we'll go back in and we'll do a quick release on it. So we're gonna let this get started, and we will bring you guys back after it has done its thing.
Goodbye. Welcome back. So the ribs are done cooking. What we did when they finished their cook cycle, we let them stay on the keep warm. This is probably too long, 34 minutes, but we usually do it 25 minutes, but whichever one you like. So they're done now, so we are gonna open up the vault. Oh, and make sure you release the stuff. Push the release button so
Yeah, that's
the
what
stuff
he's
can come
talking
out.
about. So we did a natural release for 25 minutes and then went in with the quick release after that. Pot of ribs.
Alright, so as you can see, they are quite tender. Okay.
Can we see it? There we go.
Yes, quite tender and quite cooked. I will eat that later. So what we're going to do is take them out of here. Ooh, don't get it on your white shirt. We're going to lay them out. And we are doing this because we want to put some barbecue sauce on them, stick it in the oven, and that way it can caramelize.
You can see that the bones are kind of falling out, which is what we want. That's good. You just have to be careful with taking them out of the Instant Pot because they will kind of fall apart on you.
Yep. Quite a lot of juice comes out of them because we did not put that much juice in.
And you're not gonna do anything with that extra juice in there, so just
Don't
discard
drink it.
that after
not
your
a
cooking
beverage.
time.
Quite a lot in here.
Yeah, the racks of ribs were quite large.
Large and in charge.
But because they were so large, that'll feed us for 2 or 3 meals, so.
Alright, I think
Oh,
that's-
and one thing I did forget to mention is make sure that you put your rack in there. Don't just put them in the very bottom.
they will burn.
Make sure that your rack is in there.
Alright, so now we are going to wipe these down with some of Maddie's signature Maddie sauce. Move it. Hot. Okay.
And of course you can just use your favorite barbecue sauce. You don't have to. And you can just pour it on there too. You don't have to brush it. You can just pour it and then kind of like smudge it over it.
That'll be quicker.
And there's more sauce in the refrigerator if you need it.
Excellent. all the sauce you could want from the sauce pot. Should I put it on the other side or no?
No, I wouldn't. Just on the
Side,
top.
no. And the oven is preheated
To 425. We want it at a pretty high heat, just because we're not cooking it at this point. We're just letting the sauce, get caramelized on there. So we just want to put it in the oven for a couple minutes until the sauce is nice and bubbly and on top of it.
Who wouldn't love this?
All right, so we're gonna put this in the oven and we'll bring you back to see the finished product.
Welcome back. So we're going to take the ribs out. It's probably been about
5
5
minutes.
minutes.
Yeah.
And they look quite delicious. And would you believe that only took about an hour and 30 minutes?
I think it was about an hour as far as actual cook time, not including prep time.
And that takes away all the worry of trying to make them right in the oven, waiting for 4 hours. And they are delicious. I tasted a little bit of it. They're too hot to munch on now, but I tasted one before they went in, and they were phenomenal. This is a very good way to make it if you have an Instant Pot. If not, I would suggest you get one. They're worth the money.
You can also get them used as well, and then they're cheaper.
Yeah, and they'll work just fine. And they help you to make amazing meals like this.
And just one note that I would add is when you're going to put them in the oven, make sure that you line your pan with aluminum foil, because that is going to make cleanup super easy for us. There's no burnt on barbecue sauce on our pan. So.
Yes. So.
All right, guys, try it out.